Hello. Let's go through the deck that we're going to be using in today's video. This is the new Tibalt Trickery Cascade combo deck that's been made possible in Modern with the release of Kaldheim. You might be familiar with how it's supposed to work, you might not, so I'm going to quickly go through how this deck is supposed to work. It's based around using Cascade cards, Violent Outburst and Ardent Plea, to always cascade into Tibalt Trickery, which is your only card that costs less than 3 mana, so you always hit it. Then, once you cascade into Trickery, you counter your Cascade spell with the Trickery's effect, and you just try to hit a powerful game-ending card with your Tibalt Trickery. There's a bunch of payoff cards in the deck. You're typically trying to hit Emrakul Dion's Thorn, which should beat most players on during the early turns of the game, but the other Eldrazi Titans are also quite potent and for the most part powerful. Brilliant Ultimatum lets you look further and cast more cards, gives you more looks for Emrakul Dion's Thorn. Omniscience is another way that lets you cast Emrakul Dion's Thorn had you thrown one. Unfortunately, this is not a foolproof strategy, as those 21 cards are not the only cards that Trickery can hit. It can also sometimes happen to hit the other Cascade spell, another copy of itself, or a Simian Spirit Guide. If you happen to hit the other Cascade spell, you simply retry. You get to cascade once again to the other Trickery, you get to counter this Cascade spell too. It's fine. If you hit the other Trickery, the spell fails, you cannot place it on the stack, it doesn't counter anything, so you effectively don't get nothing. If you hit Simian Spirit Guide, well, you don't get nothing, but it's also not that you get anything too powerful. So, all things considered, when properly casting a Cascade spell and resolving Tibalt's Trickery, you get roughly an 80% chance of hitting one of those powerful payoff cards, and there's a 20% chance of failing. So, definitely this is a deck more of a Oops All Spells, Belcher, Neoform type decks that are pretty all in and are trying to somewhat abuse the London Mulligan to a powerful effect. Thanks to Gemstone Caverns and thanks to Simian Spirit Guides, you frequently assemble your combination by turn 2 or 3, and that's actually what you should be aiming to do, given that that's all that your deck does, casting the Cascade card and hitting a powerful Eldrazi early in the game. You should be aiming to keep hands that try to do that during turn 2nd or 3rd turn of the game, ideally with backup. My base is simple, Rainbow Lens to support your cards, and in the sideboard, Mystical Dispute to try to fight counter spells. Obviously, it is not ideal. You sometimes happen to cascade into those two, just like you can cascade into Simian Spirit Guides, but for the most part you're going to be trying to reduce the amount of Simian Spirit Guides in your deck while sideboarding in those. Mindbreak Trap is a card that's useful in the mirror match. Throes of Chaos is specifically useful to fight off discard spells. You can swap Simian Spirit Guides for Throes of Chaos, and by doing so, you have more Cascade spells, because Throes of Chaos is assured to hit either Trickery or one of your lesser Cascade spells. Plus, you are more resistant against Thoughtseize effects, as you can cast it from your graveyard by discarding a land. Fire Academy, Blast Zone are also lands that are useful against discard and cheap Power Mines. Your opponent happens to play Deafening Silence or something of this sort. Blast Zone can get rid of that. Fire Academy, nice to play if your opponent can Thoughtseize you. You also often swap your lands for Gemstone Caverns when you are not on the draw, as Gemstone Caverns has no upside in your deck and is worse than a colorless land with no effect. Two Dismembers, useful against some 8-verse that would stop your combo, be it Meddling Mage, Ranger, Captain of Eos, this sort of stuff. Again, whenever you sideboard Dismember, there is an option that you're going to cascade into it, so everything is risky, and this deck is built around trying to get favorable odds of winning a game, so you have to accept that. Now the question arises, is it even worth to play Simian Spirit Guide in such a deck if it increases your fall rate? Different versions of this deck running around, some even like fairly extreme, that just play 4 copies of Violent Outburst, 1 Tibalt's Trickery and a few Emrakul Dion's Thorn, guaranteeing that every single time they cast Violent Outburst they hit Emrakul? I think yes, because the power of this deck is in its robustness and being able to do unspeakable stuff during the first or the second turn of the game a portion of the time, and even if you have a chance of spectrally failing, there is also, I think that is outweighed by the upside of winning games that you would not be capable of winning otherwise if you were to try to build a more like consistent Outburst Trickery Emrakul version with 51 lands. Now, of course, this is still very early stages. The deck is just a few days old. We've got him releasing less than a week ago. And there is probably still a ton that can be improved. But on this note, we're gonna just go and watch the matches. So per John Star's advice is actually mulligan with this hand. Although I think I want to keep this now. Maybe I'm soft, but this at least has 3 lands, so it's guaranteed. Okay, we should win against mono green. Jurassic, I think it makes sense to go mono haste because I've found that against many matchups I kept winning with haste creatures, and your list being nearly universally has haste creatures makes it a really good Embercleave deck. Wrong land, doesn't matter. Unless we monkey, yeah, of course, but what are the odds? It's also that the Gruul deck was playing 28 lands for free because Ramuh was a decent card, but it is not the most decent of cards. It is kind of unimpressive against some matchups. Why Mool? Question mark, question mark. Because I didn't have a 3rd land, so it wasn't guaranteed turn 3, and you can do better, and you should be striving to do better because that's how you actually win games with this. Your deck does only one thing, and you're gonna maximize your win rate if you actually try to do it as fast. Like, my 6 was better than my 7, so I got rewarded, and I think it's reasonable to expect to be rewarded, and you can mulligan freely to 5 cards. It's awkward at 4, but doable. Haven was really good. You shouldn't be playing Haven in your deck as a real deck though. You shouldn't be playing it as a real land because it doesn't produce color, so you should be playing like treated as spells with mana base. I don't think I want to sideboard anything else. I guess I'll change the worst lands for blast zones. This is the LSV deck that nearly have 1 place and then loses to Rogues. I think it's absolutely possible to just play Ox of Vagonas in the sideboard in a blue-red deck though, and then by default you're pretty good against, pretty decent against Rogues. At least your floor is not bad against Rogues. Does Through the Breach instead of Omniscience make sense in this deck? It doesn't. I tried playing with Through the Breach in some other version of this deck, but you're not gonna beat a person by summoning Eldrazi and hitting them because then you don't do anything afterwards. And Omniscience is super powerful because you get your cast triggers, so Omniscience is more ways to hit Emrakul. I played with 4 Omniscience, but actually drawing in Omniscience and something else is kinda bad. Okay, mulligan to 3. Unfortunately, you can't keep Gamestone Caverns on 3. But we can just hope to draw a land. I turn 2. Oh, we drew a Plea. I should have put back a Plea. That's not the worst draw actually, because we can retry. Do you think Chariot is worth trying because of questing beasts? It's kind of tempting, yada yada, yeah. It's definitely worth trying. Like, this is gonna be better. We'll find out, but really worth trying. Alright. Monk flipping. Monk flipping. Monk flipping. Before my opponent forces me actually. Like the way people played Force in Blue-Red yet. SSG 1 time. Okay, Outburst. Reroll. Trickery. Reroll. Emrakul Dion Storm, turn 2. Kaneki wins the match. That was pretty convincing actually. House of Mana MTG. Is House of Mana MTG gonna play Titan or are you gonna play the Mirror? Thank you for the subscription, but I would absolutely add every single last Night of Autumn that I had to my deck immediately upon seeing that my opponent plays an enchantment that untaps their mana immediately and lets them interact with my Night of Autumn. So, or spend their mana otherwise, so that I am at a mana disadvantage, and otherwise the Night of Autumn is not particularly good. to play if they don't happen to have Reclamation in play, so I'm always forced into this awkward play pattern where it's not particularly good. So yeah, all the copies come in. I think I'll move to 5-2. Okay, I'll keep this 5, I guess. Using the Cascade combo in Modern? I want to see that! Sure, you're welcome. To take a look. I'll say preliminary. I'm simultaneously playing a preliminary and playing games in leagues. On top of that, I'm doing better in the leagues than I am doing in the preliminaries. So no second land drop, so probably trying to hit the second land drop to hit me with a Monka. I milled the Trickery. Well, cascaded this. Pretty unfortunate, I'll say, but you can combo at 5 mana. We can cast Monkey, Trickery it. Could also discard an Eldrazi, but I think getting to 5 mana is better. We drew a land. This is a trap. What's a trap? Okay. Clench your buttocks. Nice Cascade decks, I know. I know, they're nice. Clench your buttocks. Cast a card? Yes, because I got the flip trigger, awesome. That actually not a whiff because we milled the Kozilek, awesome. Mine is exalted. I got that advantage. Oh shit. Second monkey coming in. This is so funny when the mirror happens and just tomfoolery. Castle among the Infinite Gyre. Okay, that's good. That's good. But I get an extra turn, I can draw my own Cascade. Everyone, this is a trap. What's a trap? Oh, I should. Well, I guess I shouldn't look. I guess I only take 12, so I sacrifice Monkey and 4 elements. I don't. Yeah, so I discard this, this, and this. I should have kept the colorless one so that the game's on mine with 1 counter. And you can draw a Cascade now. No, no Cascade. Damn guys, I am having so much fun casting my spells on turn 2 and hoping that I win. You got to find the happiness in some little things, like some events that you can't control, but still producing ridiculous outcomes. I find that very funny. Therefore, I don't know what you're talking about, Diamo. Sideboarding out 1 monkey. Mr. Kanister, how much longer do you think people will be jamming this deck to 2 free records? I had a 4-1 just a minute before. Just the last league I got a 4-1 score, so I don't know what you're talking about. But the answer is for quite some time. It's also really good to draw traps because that means that I can't hit traps with my Cascades. I cast Etherhub. I cast Kate into Tibalt's Trickery. Okay, I have to let that happen. Anyways, better than Throws of Chaos. Why? Cascade into Monkey. No, Playa. Cascade into Trickery, and I could excel this entire stack right now, which is probably good to excel the throws, and that also, yeah, doesn't give them a cast trigger if they hit an Eldrazi, but also they can miss. What do you think, Twitch is better? I think excel all with that. Yeah, excelling throws seems good because otherwise you can just recast it on the next turn. They also have the second trap, so like it's not even a question really. It's Legacy Kek, but I don't think trap is very good in Legacy. It's not even very good in Vintage. Alright, Ulamog the Infinite Gyre. I like how dynamic the artwork of the original Ulamog is. Because Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger is just standing here with arms like that, and it's like, this pose. Looks kinda awkward. At Ulamog the Infinite Gyre is like, you see the arms swaying around, swinging and going, I don't know what, doing. Dabbing, exactly. Any chance this deck survives 2 to 3 weeks? You didn't say any words that would make it absolutely clear what you're referring to, but I unfortunately think I have to time you out. I don't think I want to board and throw Twitch chat. What do you think? Because I guess it makes sense to board and throws in a way, but not all that much. I'm just gonna keep it this way, the way it is. Because it's not particularly great against trap either. It gets excelled by trap in some scenarios, so I think I'll keep this because 2 trap is super valuable. Instant in. Fuck. Forgot. This deck will not see any play in 2 weeks, and that's not because of bans. You can quote me on that. That most likely is the next coming of Neoform. But again, it's the 4th Belcher deck in the format in like... Well, Neoform was a while ago, but besides that, it's the 4th Belcher deck in the format with that it's gonna exist, and sometimes you're gonna play against it and lose on turn 2. Alright, that's annoying. But I don't really need the land, I guess. I need one card right now. If I had 2 lands in play, I could have actually cast both traps, exile the Ulamog, and then counter my other trap with Tibalt's Trickery to try to hit something. At least you can play Oops and this come with the same deck. Well, but those are different decks that require a slightly different type of hate. Especially with Oops making a hole in Force of Negotiation. I think my opponent cast a Tibalt, flip the Tibalt Trickery. They didn't cast anything, okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like exiling the Trickery with Mindbreak Trap is correct. Alright, so you can only cast Mindbreak Trap if your opponent has if your opponent has cast 3 spells, and they cast Cascade Trickery, that's 2 spells. You can hit the Trickery with the trap. Most of the time. Plus they can also whiff. Although even when they whiff, they get the cast trigger. So 2 is less than 3, yeah, exactly. Why does the Emrakul not enter? The Emrakul trigger is from my opponent's cards being randomly milled. Going -2 on lands is really bad for me. I think I'd rather trap it and cast Tibalt's Trickery on my trap to hit an Eldrazi with Annihilator and defeat my opponent this way. I lose to Mindbreak Trap, but I just do, probably. I pick Eldrazi with a small Eldrazi. Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. As I said at the start of the match, this was some great interactive Magic gameplay, exactly. Can you tap out for the Giant Saga? I guess it doesn't matter to me really. No, too late. Well, the cast triggers were so that they were better. That you were rewarded for actually getting to 10 mana and casting them the regular way, I think. Trickery. Don't you want to remand this? How's the plan going? Is any matches? 5 matches still going? That's so slow with their decks. Cast Monkey going to be key? Well, most likely not gonna work, but he already has Mystic Sanctuary available, so he chooses not to Sanctuary back a counter spell, so it's literally like forced to have a counter spell, which means that I'm kinda unlikely to be capable of winning this game, but... Six lands in play. Okay, not Field of the Dead, but there's a lot of mana now. Does this deck ever beat Teferi? Well, you can do things before Teferi enters. Actually, only 2 mana off of Ulamog the Infinite Gyre. The best one to hardcast would be the Eon's Turn, but actually afraid of hardcast. That's the chicken move. Also a potentially reasonable play. Oh no, Invasion of the Giants. It's kinda decent for him, I guess, but... Well, he only has 4 cards in hand, but we know that he has Cryptic and Remand, so that's kinda rough. Can't tap out yet. Oh no. I guess I should discard Omniscience for Promised Land, that was a mistake. Yeah, Omniscience for Promised Land was so much better. Any Giants revealed? No. Nice draw step. Crypticking now seems odd to me. I'm gonna hardcast the Eon's Turn and the Promised Land is gonna be not gonna be relevant, so it's fine. Punished. Well, 25% I got punished, I guess. But I also put an extra Violent Outburst into my deck, which is actually decent. Okay. Right, attempting at casting an Eldrazi. Amending the Cryptic commands. Okay. It's countering the player. Sensible. Alright, clench your buttocks for no force. XD? Does he have no more sanctuaries? How did I win this? Also, I just got the best hit, but it was just super fortunate because I had high chances of whiffing, but that's a good one. That's a good one. Didn't have a blue card for force. That's very sad. You won because opponent's blue control deck is a bunch of Dookie Giant cards instead of Papa Omnath. I think that is also plays a role. Do Throes of Chaos come in? I don't know actually. This is what I'm pondering about. If they do or not. So drawing Trickery isn't that bad. Yeah, drawing Trickery isn't that bad. It does actually help against counter spells occasionally. And like, does things. The average CMC of this deck is quite high. Or to use a meme template, it's so fucking big. I don't want any throws against Aspiring Spike. I think that sounds pretty medium, actually. Man, I still think this deck could use a Hypergenesis or 2. Hypergenesis is banned. Have you considered removing the lands that produce perfect mana and replacing them with spells so the average seems even greater? I have not. Why would I consider that? Not a great hand, but I think he has Tails in for Cascade, for sure. What about some of the breaches should not be around on flat mail? Through the Breach is a terrible card to, is a pretty bad card to hit, and it's just not gonna win a game when it resolves. You put an Emrakul into play, but then the Emrakul disappears, so you don't win the game off of that. Might wait a turn. Yeah, I'll wait. Next upkeep I'm gonna try to combo do his 3 mana. Oh, now I do more monkey. But that's good because there's only 1 more monk in my deck. Why waiting? If they got force now, they can cast it in the turn they couldn't. Because I have Mystical Dispute and I can play around the counter spell in their upkeep and his upkeep. He can only have like, he can have 2 mana and a 1 mana counter spell, obviously. Wow, alright. Clench your buttocks, chat. We need a good hit. We can't have a bad hit. I can't have a bad hit. We need a good hit. Will do. You can take your turn. Aspiring Spike. I decide to keep, even though it is not a turn 1 Cascade, because we have the wrong Cascade. Even if you put 2 to 3 Eldrazi into play, you will often lose. I think putting an Eldrazi into play has a quite high success rate, but maybe lower than... I don't know. I'd rather have Punishing here. Potentially, if I don't draw a land. Not sure how strong is your opponent putting a bunch of stuff into play. Okay, I like Resolving Ultimatum because that's quite fun. Can you stick to anything if the fairy is in play? No, not really. And most often... Nice split. Some count 7, and we get to cast even more stuff. Don't scoop opponents, please. Let me do the thing. Alright, now they concede. Not sure about the amount of disputes that's the greatest, because it was really nice against Spike, we won thanks to it. It would be nice to have 3, but also every dispute increases your failure rate, and you want to board out some monkey. Thank you for the Radiant Drag. You want to board out some monkey, but you don't want to board out all monkey. Really Throes of Chaos 4 against this card spell decks. But yeah, like, I probably should have more cards against the blue decks than against the non-blue decks. Force check! I'm probably gonna have it. Okay, -1 Jace the Mind Sculptor. We can't have the player. Makes sense, I guess, because I don't get the enchantment. We need 2 more lands to play this. Oh, the one gets back a force. I Uro. I draw. I gain life. I put land play. I fetch. I put Cryptic. I pass. It's player. That's what I'm saying. Monkey check. Well, I guess. Please ban force. I have mixed feelings, but Fact or fiction? Draw seems really get to boarding against Ethergast. I miss when Torfictite started seeing play again. People kept giving me 4-1 splits. I do not miss when you get those splits. I do not miss those times. In fact, I do not remember them because it's your memory and not mine. The one was Uro. Yeah, I guess I will do that. They kept 7, but maybe they kept only 2-man interaction, not on a force. Or maybe we can draw an outburst and beat force anyways. Force check. I'll say dispute check actually, but... Dispel check too! What a scam. Dispel check, no! Now? I mean, we can draw another cascade, it's gonna be fine. Why don't they just counter the enchantment? Because what does this spell do? Does it counter target enchantment? What? Yes. Yes, it will be useful. Well, I forced him to deal with the monkey, a free power attacker. Maybe they won't be able to beat him in Spirit Guide. Odds are that 3 mana? Sorcerer speed draw 2. That feels like somebody who was holding a force. I don't know. Maybe hold it for now. Maybe they'll have this idea like maybe they'll want to tap out for some. Oh, they wanted to get Fatal Push mana? What? I think they... Do you have a second dispel? I probably do. Just do dispel gaming. What is this word? Okay, Jace the Mind Sculptor defeated me. Since I lost 2 counter spells, I'm gonna add +1 dispute. Whoops, not the deck. +1 dispute, -1 froze. But it feels like the dispute is actually very meaningful. I underestimated how meaningful it's gonna be. And we have Nephali Academy to fight this card too. What do we move? I'll keep this on the draw, I think. And it's not necessarily super, but I think Albus is the better cascade. And it can actually beat blue by going spell. Okay. Monkey. Oh no. Great timing, I guess. I mean, it's probably fine timing. I think this deck is also gonna perform better in leagues. Well, every deck performs better in leagues, so obviously, like, sometimes you run to a Spring Spike in leagues. And in challenges and prelims, it's a little bit harder because people have better decks, more meta decks with more meta cards rather than random decks. And like throws against the fairy at all. Should move not super hands, was a Pepija hand. The hand was like, it's pretty unclear as to what my opponent's playing, and against some opponents it would have been a good hand, I feel. Could have disputed that, but I think I didn't want to. I think you need what you do. I think you need to do what you need to do and pray. Well, yeah, I guess in this card spell deck, this would have been a good hand, though. But you don't know if you're playing as counter spells or clock or whatever else. I think I want to play it now. So meme rating on this deck, 3. How many canisters did Tibalt Trickery get? Cake W. Ah, that's a good draw. Should I try now? No, because I can play Teferi. I suddenly decided to give Elder Gargoyle only 2 canisters. Do you stand by that rating? The zero is free. I underestimated a little bit. It's more playable than I thought. There's a very high chance that these people are sniping you. In the prelim? Maybe. What makes this build better than just jamming Veil of Summer? Free CMC. Cascade cards. Alright, land. Logic not in current yet, and blue-white, everything goes. Anything goes. That's actually an acceptable draw too. Well, not really, because that's my last Trickery. Okay, not my last Trickery. Can dispute and Trickery it, I know, but that means that this was not a good draw anymore, but now they played a Fairy, I can't win. Wonder if they had force, if they had to throw an extra mana source for this, if it would have worked. We won 3 the preliminary, and our 1 win was a bye. Those were the matches that I played in today's video. I tried to show you somewhat of a balanced range of how this deck operates in general. It can be really punishing against non-blue decks. It can be winning on turn 1, 2, 3 pretty consistently against decks that don't play counter magic or don't play much other disruption. It is really weak against decks with force of negation, and it's quite hard to have a reliable plan to beat that card. You have to get pretty lucky to beat it in many spots. Overall, you know, it is a little bit of a stupid deck. Who knows if it's a good or bad influence for Modern in general that it exists. I would not expect this deck to be a really strong competitive option. I played it in a few tournaments already. I played it in a Modern Challenge, I played it in a Modern Preliminary on Magic Online. I didn't succeed in those. I do tend to have better results in leagues when people are taking things a little bit more lightly. So take the results with a grain of salt. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, smash that subscribe button, or leave a like, or leave a comment, or tell a friend. Take care, and till the next time.